Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and already the London Spitfire have kind of debated us a little bit in that first map. They look really average, Matt, initially, but that is the nature of this 3-3 composition. It can just blow out of control one way or the other.
I mean, they do play the ultimate economy game pretty well. You know, never really see London like waste ultimates, so to speak. You know, they always kind of get their support ultimates off. They just kind of play like a really like safe way.
I think that's what won them that last round.
Yeah, and they're able to get by when, you know, you have a lot of players not really playing the heroes they would really love to play right now. Like, Gesture would love to just play Winston
He would.
all the time. Not able to do so as we go into map number 2, Nimbani. You can play a lot of Winston here, though. You know, if you are in London, this is a pretty decent map for you.
Yeah, I call it back to the final moments on Mecha base there.
Hey,
don't give away my secrets, observers.
Oh!
Hey.
That's what Nuss thinks.
High quality shirts. Listen.
Oh, no, he left the purple one there.
He did. My man. I don't know about the...
Oh, there's only one purple one left.
I don't know about the Crocs with heels, though. I'm not really about those. I don't know.
Nah, I don't know if it would look good with the yellow Crocs that they got there.
Either way.
I'm not a fashion expert, though. I just wear sweatpants all the time, so I can't really comment too much.
Let's jump into this one. The Spitfire on defense, and Matt, they will be playing with Gesture on the Winston here. Again, want to try and drive a wedge between the Gladiators' backline and pick off their players before they can actually make a significant impact on this first point. We'll all be happy to play Reinhardt here. If it comes to push, or push comes to shove on his high ground, the Ryan definitely favoured. And yeah, a lot of pushing and a lot of shoving, but Raw is knocked off the high ground.
And that's going to force everybody to drop. I mean, you can't just leave your Reinhardt in the middle of the street. It's not. Man, this is dangerous. How many, I think we saw last week, look how Gesture is getting closer to that Primal Rage, building that ult up, and you have a lot of those players in that small room.
Oh, now you got to be ready to go with Big Goose missing. The Spitfire are not going to chase this one here. Again, a lot of risk. They don't want to get clapped back and lose one of their own players here. But yeah, with how clumped up the Gladiators are, just gets to tase them all.
And I mean, you get dropped to the low ground. You don't want to like rotate all the way back through the street and go back around. You kind of have to go into that little area where the Gladiators were. See if any boops can kind of push them off. There it is again, the Primal Rage now out of Gesture.
The Gladiators can't drop down. They're actually split up now. Gesture, Primal Rage. Again, Big Goose the first kill.
They rallied this as well, the Gladiators.
And yet, they don't push on. Even having used that Brigitte ult, perhaps they were just hoping that it will be enough to get them out safely. But once more, a boop turns into a split Gladiators, and then a Primal Rage on the high ground from Gesture means that they can't reunite. So they have to go again. 2 minutes 27 on the clock. 2 unsuccessful attacks. Here's number 3. Proper charged up, Graviton in the corner. Guard goes down early in the fight though. Transcendence now being brought in by Benocean. And the Spitfire need to find a couple more pickups here in these next couple of moments. But Chaz, of course, had his own Transcendence available. Profit off the map to Big Goose. And this is not how the Spitfire wanted this one to go. Losing that Brigitte so early, man.
You're going to get another touch here potentially if you're London. If you want to invest, you'll have Primal Rage in Sound Barrier. Some players coming out of the spawn. It looks like Gesture's going to go on for the last second. They're going to rally as well.
Just getting there to the point decay. Okay, yeah. Gotta let that Graviton Surge go. They catch guard again first in this fight. However, Nuss and Fury seem to be pretty comfortable in the bottom right corner of your screen here. They're not committing fully to the point. They're just keeping it contested, but they're not making much of a dent here. Gesture tries to go forward against Chaz, but completely denied.
While they use, they're probably going to switch off of this anyway. You know, in the second part of the map, you imagine, yep, Gesture will go over to Reinhardt. So you don't even really feel bad, you know, burning that ultimate. You know they don't have a sound barrier. You can use your sound barrier, try and stall it out for time. This is bad. Profit just trying to hide up here, just trying to make it out. He finally does. That's big because he keeps some of that charge, right? You know, sitting at 62% average energy.
That would be devastating. You know, to be honest, him losing that charge here would be enough to lose the whole
second part of the map. Yeah,
exactly. That's just how important having high charge on the Zarya is. Feast or famine, like we said beforehand, that's the theme of this setup so far. Self-destruct thrown in the back of the Gladiators here, but they push far enough forward to not be bothered by it. Decay, very charged. And the Transcendence used actually just to let the Gladiators back out safely. Now they'll go again with both teams having used them Zenyatta ultimates. The armor from the rally will be on a couple of these Gladiators players, but not all of them. Profit also super charged up, wanting to push forward, but Raw's shield stays solid. Void was desuited.
Yeah, it's big though. You burn down Void. You don't have an opportunity to create some kind of combo. Void trying to get his mech back here, but that's going to force the Gladiators to back on
Don't
now.
you expect London to be more aggressive after getting rid of that Diva mech? They seem
Well, I think London has a good idea that there's a grab from Decay and to shatter up. You blindly run around the corner with your Reinhardt. All I need is one of those ultimates to land.
All right. You're gonna get hosed, perhaps. Oh, okay, Earthshadow doesn't quite get up the way that Gesture would have liked it to, although Shaz was still caught in it. Hydration missing, and now to Spitfire. Another very successful defensive fight. Okay, ooh, that sweet, sweet energy, bro, is gone. It's gone.
So now London can get aggressive, right? I mean, you have your own grab. Yeah, so they're just going to set up right outside of the spawn. So you mentioned, you know, speed of flame, you know, a lot of I believe it as well. Aggression wins you games right now. You see how aggressive they're being. The grab actually puts Void on the other side of the wall. He doesn't get any effects there from the sound barrier.
Yeah, a lot of teams sort of try and set up that kind of graviton in fights where they know the other team has a line of sight dependent defensive ultimate.
To, yeah, line them off. Yeah.
And we see it happen on Route 66 a couple of times as well. Very important. Also, teams can sort of be saved by being behind a pillar when there's a self-destruct, something similar. So the Spitfire want to keep getting aggressive here. Just took a big hit, but the self-destruct from Fury was enough to force them back. Now, normally, that ultimate will be used in conjunction with the Graviton Surge to secure a fight win, but neither Prophet nor Fury are very close. Prophet wasn't very close to grab here, so Fury happy to buy some space with it.
I mean, you can still get kills if you just connect with, you know, a good old charge right into Roar, right? Ooh, you lose hydration. They're still going to grab this. Transcendence out right away. And it's so weird, Mitch. Okay, so they use the grab, and then there's no, like, they don't even try and follow it up. They almost use the grab and then run away.
Yeah, it looks like Decay actually queued or smashed Q at a time that he didn't actually think hydration would be dead. You know what I mean? It almost happened so simultaneously there that, you know, the communication that would need to come out in a moment like that was sort of not there. I don't think Decay expected hydration to not be present for that fight. Some things just happen all at once in this game.
Well, almost the worst part is they use Transcendence as well.
Yeah, that hurts. Both teams fairly even on that Zenyatta ultimate percentage at least. Guard having used Rally there, and you can see that armor will be persistent for a little while. Long enough for the Gladiators to have to push into an armored up Spitfire before it decays away, no pun intended. Earthshatter, Prophet caught up by that one. He was definitely hoping for something more as a three-man stun by Raw, but still Jester's able to get his own shatter off. Raw caught up in a Graviton Surge here, and the Gladiators have not made much progress at all. Decay needs to make a huge impact now with this Graviton Surge. Nas lays it down. Jester's going to be caught that one as well. Prophet knocked away to the left. He's still present in the map. He's able to back away and survive, but Guard not looking too good either. He's going to get pressured down by Decay. Guard tries to come forward with a stun and is removed.
It's so hard to actually complete a hold from that position. Like, the spawner's advantage is absolutely unreal with the Gladiators there, just having their spawn door right around the corner. They still need another fight, though, to be able to take point B here as we see the cart making around the corner. Doesn't have much more to go, as you can see at the top of your screen.
Los Angeles, I mean, I'm not feeling great for the Gladiators about the support ultimates that they have. No Transcendence is not going to be fun. Let's see if the Spitfighters try and start it off. Both sides go for the rally here. Important fight as hydration already being booted back in position. Decay straight to 100 charge, of course. Reasonable. Transcendence now being used for the Spitfire. That's the ultimate the Gladiators didn't have. The Spitfire had to find an advantage with a Zenyatta ultimate, but they actually still go even in this fight. It's a classic 3-3 fight where ults are being used and no kills are being found. And Decay has a Graviton. So does Prophet. Pretty much both are used at the same time, and a Transcendence now being brought into the fight as well. Void down, but Ocean picks him off. It's a trade though. Jester's missing in a 5v5. It's getting out of control. The Gladiators break through. Despite the Spitfire having more ultimates into the fight, they held off for so long, and Decay gets the result he was looking for with that Graviton.
But those ultimates, they swing so fast when you're putting down so much damage and then nobody's dying. Like for the Gladiators there, they played it perfectly from the standpoint that they knew they just needed to stand on the backside of the cart and just wait until Decay, you know, he had charge, puts down some more damage, you know, you have grab, you're starting to build some of these ultimates rather quickly. I think London, to win that, they would have needed to go like aggressive right away, like push into them like straight away. We're gonna have a rally to kick off this fight. Self-destruct here from Fury over the top, doesn't get anything.
Yeah, big goose sound barrier there just being laid down. Definitely help the Gladiators as they try and push forward now. Rally from hydration. And the Spitfire use their rally but choose to back off instead, and guess what? It's grab time. Both Zayas getting those ultimates at about the same time. The more charge you have, the faster your ult comes up, the more damage you do. A Transcendence from Bidoshin and Shaz. So these teams mirrored ultimates coming into this fight. Decay lets the Graviton Surge go down. The Transcendence brought in by Shaz and Bidoshin. Prophet also used his Grav. And once again, neither team can really find an inch in the start of the fight. We're down to 23 seconds left. The Gladiators pretty much need to stick to this payload map.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was just sucked up in both grabs. You have no self-destruct combos to use here as they pressure Gesture. He gets quite low. The self-destruct goes in. There he goes.
No shield available. Still Gesture the only casualty. The bomb didn't find anything on the side of the Gladiators, but they have that player advantage now. They're looking to snowball that one further out of control. It is a desuited Fury trying to break line of sight and keep the payload in place, but he is discovered and removed. Prophet taken down, and somehow, against the odds, the Gladiators are doing this. Gesture forced back, and nowhere shadow for you, my friend. Almost full held outside of their spawn. A couple fights. The first one maybe a little bit fortunate. The next two were just very well played by the Gladiators.
And that push almost doesn't happen when they end up using that grab that we were talking about, that Decay ends up using, and there's no follow-up that comes on through. Is you can see here from the mini-map, right? The grab comes through, and then they all just huddle around the pole, and then Roar gets really low. They use the Transcendence, but at that point, they all have to back up. There was zero opportunity for a follow-through on that. And you burn two big ultimates, like Transcendence and Grab, it made it really tough. Their saving grace is their spawn doors, like, basically on the cart at that point.
It seemed right there as if Chaz was just trying to hold the Transcendence a little bit later, see how far he could push
or
luck in that grab.
Yeah, I think, Roar got, like, really low, and sometimes there's, like, that. It's so hard, especially in this meta, to determine
like your main tank is low, and you know you need to keep
when
them
the
alive.
burst damage is going to come. Like when you have like a lot of other damage dealers in the game, you can really get a good judge of how much damage is coming in. But because you're dealing with Zarya, whose damage kind of scales depending on how much she's charged, or whether the Reinhardt's getting a fire strike or a swing through there, it's difficult to gauge how much incoming damage is actually about to happen, which makes you sometimes like. You believe you have an extra second to use that Transcendence, or you have that second to pop it, then get over towards them. Makes it really difficult to judge.
Well, how many times have we seen a Primal Rage Winston deleted instantly? Or Winston's before Primal Rage is used, getting killed before they have a chance to go for it. It's hard to predict, sort of in what amount damage can actually come towards you based on where you are in the team fight. So the Gladiators have no time left in the bank after they're attacked. If the Spitfire are fast enough, the Gladiators won't have another chance to attack it over.
So this is interesting. You'll have Fury here playing Wrecking Ball. So usually if we see Wrecking Ball, he's usually played as he just goes right through. He just pummels Shaz off the side.
I don't think the Gladiators were ready for that at all. Roar forced the charge away. You see Fury just in the background. It's his jungle gym out there.
EBS, I ain't gonna tell you to get me a replay of that. I want to see that. It just goes right through the top, man. He just like, Shaz sitting in the back, he just gets pummeled through. Because you don't expect it, because who plays Wrecking Ball instead of Diva in a Reinhardt kind of composition? You usually see Wrecking Ball played a lot in like quad DPS, quad damage dealer type of compositions as a solo tank. You don't see him often in terms of like an off tank. Fury's gonna go back and switch. So maybe that's just a design setup. Maybe that's something they know where the Gladiators are going to play the Reinhardt composition on defense. It's very static and just roll right through them.
Environmental kills are fairly plentiful if the team is playing on that top left-hand side.
That was too funny, man.
Oh, God! Oh. Push back,
not that
chase
funny.
him down.
No.
You didn't find that as funny as before? Some of the humor being drained away?
Not really.
I don't think the Gladiators are joking.
The Brig going in there solo kind of gives you some kind of feelings of like, dive into Masters rank play. Oh, I'm Brig, I'll just go in. Like, sure, because you can't take any damage, right? But so now London, they're not going to opt to just kind of keep flooding out like the Gladiators did. They're going to go wrap around and try this street approach rather early. The Gladiators did this later in their offensive attempt. It's like London values the space here.
Graviton Surge, Transcendence response here. A shatter just to make sure the Spitfire couldn't follow up in the way they would have liked to, and the Gladiators, that's a very solid defense. That will keep the Spitfire caught inside their own spawn. Prophet, he's got to be a bit salty about that one, committing a grab and still being stuck in his own house.
Yeah, and I think they had Fury up on the high ground, who was just putting damage from the backside up on the bridge. Just not enough. And then now they're going to be walking in. I'm sure they know Decay's got this grab waiting for them.
He'll let it go straight away. He'll know that Fisher is just sat there waiting for it. Self-destruct from both teams thrown in here. Who comes out on top? Well, it's the Gladiators boy. Gets that extra kill, and more importantly, both Gesture and Profit are missing. And hey, Big Goose might be dead, but he's Lucio. He's a speedster. It probably will force the Gladiators to give a little bit of extra ground while they wait. Yeah, they do. They back off a little bit more here. Oh, Roy's in the corner. He's right behind him. Shadow! Oh, it's nasty! That's a 6-man Shadow. Oh, in his shower.
And Bumper keeps playing well. You're going to see all different types of stuff like this. You know, the flanking Reinhardt becoming pretty popular. You saw what, Super try like the 360 shatter. No, yes,
180, yeah.
I love it, bro. Bust out all the tricks. Why not? Reinhardt players, they know they're going to live forever. Everyone's pocketing them. Just start, do whatever, man.
Spitfire are not happy right now. They're going to push forward aggressively. I'm pretty sure Gesture failed to really fight too much with that Earth Shatter. Still, the Spitfire, they're adamant, Matt. They push up in that fight with sound barrier.
You know what? I actually think one of the biggest things at this series so far, like as you're watching it from like a high-level POV, is just like the team that is just always aggressive and just running into the other has been the team that's been successful. Like, we saw like 3 or 4 pushes where London would come around the outside, right? They're trying to be slow. That time they just spin right into them. And they just started, they pick one player, just run them, and just run them over, and just push on through. You saw it be successful there to get out of the spawn break.
This is a behavior we've seen exhibited by teams such as the Vancouver Titans. Love to get aggressive.
Pick a player, run with them.
We've cracked the code, man. Finally.
No, I don't think we have, but...
Overwatch analysts hate this one tip. Okay, now with a Graviton surge.
Like that would be like a reinforces Reinhardt tips against every hero, like those Karki videos. You just everyone like, oh, what should you do against Reinhardt? Run.
just don't be there. don't lock the creep. Finishing with the Transcendence now. Raw is still able to pick up guard. Even got the burst damage despite the Transcendence is present. Fury hoping for a bit from this one. Beautiful. Big use in hydration, knocked skyward and then vaporized. Fury really making that one hurt, and now the Spitfire build up a little bit of momentum. We talked about how snowbally these compositions are. The ones that feature the Reinhardt. And well, right now it's being demonstrated to us here. The Spitfire again, 3 minutes, 13 seconds. And if they finish this map in enough time, the Gladiators will have to just defend. They won't have a chance to attack once more.
It was a nice shatter there from Gesture, and a really cool play from Nuss. He sees Decay's off to the side. He actually got hit by the shatter, and he boops him while he's back on the ground towards the rest of London, so they're able to take him out rather quickly when all those players are clumped up on the ground. As the Lucio boop to just place people in different spots has been pretty massive in this meta so far.
Absolutely. Displacement as an ability is remember what people's issues with Doomfist and how it was so frustrating. Not only did he have the burst damage, but he displaced people constantly. Right now, it's important when all your ducks need to be in a row to make sure you don't get blown up by a Diva mech. Self-destructing. Profit. Look at, he was trying to work around that side, maybe to get behind the Diva Avoid here, or make sure he wasn't in a position to eat up that grab. Transcendence here, Shaz bringing that one in, no real surprise there. Oh, the shatter to set up the bomb, it's beautiful! Oh, it's so nice! Fury finds himself 3. And now London push forward, this is excellent for them. Both teams, slow starts on the attack and transitioning to rather comparatively rapid offenses. And now the London Spitfire head into overtime with a lot more time on the clock, and that means that they're the only ones who get to attack once more. It's looking good for London. We'll see you in just a moment. Two minutes and 9 seconds the Spitfire have to, well, man, they don't have to do a whole lot here considering the Gladiators have no time left.
And I'm surprised that the Gladiators are coming out with a Reinhardt-based defense, knowing that London was willing to run Wrecking Ball as an off-tank the last time, and you know that Profit can play far at a high level, you know Guard can play Sombra, you're in a prime position to see a heavy damage dealer composition come out from London. and they're going to be just static up on the high ground. Let's see what happens.
And only one tick is what the Spitfire need on point A here, 1/3. So, I mean, the Gladiators picked themselves into what would be considered a more exploitable comp.
And all London needs to do is just, let Prophet just chip players away, let Gesture go and just be annoying, getting the slams, just taking down damage and just live, right? And just constantly just poke and poke and poke. Eventually they'll find like a pick here. Shaz getting quite low. They actually have to use the armor pack on Shaz to keep him up.
I mean, and Prophet, like, off to his bottom left is where Void is. So he's trying to, again, do what he can to limit the Pharos damage, but this is clever from the Gladiators. Try and push forward and get rid of Bidoshin. Prophet does eventually deal with Void, but
that was actually super sneaky what London just tried to do there. So they send these players around where Gesture is to occupy the high ground, and they want the Gladiators to back out into the hallway up by the bridge, but they put Bidoshin there. And Bidoshin actually lands a big anti-grenade in the back and then tries to run away. They kill him before he's able to run. But a really nice strat there from London. You get 2 or 3 players with an anti, a lot of Pharo rockets coming in. You may have been able to just manufacture a pickoff.
Prophet's still looking for, again, he's already found that 1 kill.
They're trying to do it again.
But it wasn't enough to turn the fight. I mean, look, he's got a barrage here, so we can drop in over the top. An EMP from guard would make it very difficult for the Gladiators to answer. Sleep dart on Shaz. This might be the opening. There it is, EMP thrown into the mix now. Prophet actually goes down to Big Goose. He tries to go for the barrage, and Big Goose just says no. With Gesture now missing and guard set on the point after using the EMP, that's very inefficient from the Spitfire. 2 ultimates committed and minimal result, despite Bidoshin getting asleep to start off the fight.
But right now, you do have self-destruct. You're going to have Valkyrie, and you'll most likely get a nano boost. You're also looking at potentially a minefield. You get like a hack onto Roar from the high ground here, from guard, and then the self-destruct comes through. You're looking at open space here, 1 or 2 kills.
One more fight left, and the Spitfire kind of had to win on the first one. Now they could be in trouble. Bite a grenade hitting Big Goose and Decay, but the sound barrier is there for the Gladiators, so the Spitfire have to be careful. They still need to contest the point. They need to be touching it physically to keep this fight going, and they know that Fury's the man to do that. That's why the Gladiators are targeting that Diva so heavily. Decay is very close to a Graviton Surge, but the Transcendence comes out now from the Gladiators. Decay backs away after letting that one go, and that's the self-destruct finish. The Spitfire trying to play the sneaky strat, the DPS stacking, but they come out with nothing. Decay is put to sleep, but Bidoshin is just one honor. And with Fury being removed, there's no one left on the points. Numbani is drawn, and London, the risk they took playing DPS-heavy compositions, it fails.
Yeah, and look, I think it was the right call from London. They just didn't really have a solid attempt outside of their burst. They were able to connect with a biotic grenade on the backside, not able to finish off any of those kills. Then after that, they weren't able to put their push together. They're still at 1-0 though, going into our half. We'll see you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.